the situation we're in right now is that one that we knew we would get to. The dryness of the past year plus has really been worse than we've experienced in a long time. And so what's concerning is that the level is dropping. It's dropping pretty rapidly, and we don't see great prospects for it filling back up in the near term. And so this is a different situation from what we've been in. And that's why I think people are paying more attention to it. And in fact, the level will be that low that we will have a shortage, a tier one shortage officially declared.
The tier one shortage, can you describe essentially what it means in layman's terms?
Yeah, sure. So the tier one shortage, which we will know in August for sure whether it will go into effect in January, but we think it will. All signs are that it will. Means that the Central Arizona project will deliver about a third less water than it usually does, but not to the cities, mostly to the farmers and some other uses such as banking for the future or water that would have been used to replenish some of the groundwater use.
The state's population is growing. Is there a way to achieve a balance when you talk about people who live here, but also living in the desert responsibly?
There's something that maybe we need to do a better job of, and that is connect our land use planning with our water planning. And people may think that's happening all the time, but I'll tell you, I'm a co-chair of a national conference in a month's time exactly that is trying to get or foster a better connection between the land use planners and the water planners and figure out how is the best way to grow. Because, you're right, Lorraine, we are still growing and we will grow. Arizona remains an attractive place to live and do business. But we have to figure out how to accommodate that growth in ways that use less water. And I'll give an example. Las Vegas, I think maybe the state of Nevada, I'm not entirely sure, recently adopted an ordinance banning ornamental grass that has no purpose other than being there as green grass. And that could be in the median of a street, which we don't see here in Tucson. But I see grass being watered that does not serve any useful purpose. And so we just need to think about the kinds of things that we can do differently. And that doesn't mean we can't grow. It just means how our new communities look, how they're designed, what people expect in terms of grassy areas and common areas. Maybe we rethink that.
How did it get so bad here in the state of Arizona? Because you point to places like Nevada, but here we're talking restrictions and shortages, which is uncomfortable in a state that is growing.
The reason Arizona is impacted by shortage and talking about shortage more goes back to 40 or more years ago, actually longer ago. And it has to do with the building of the Central Arizona project. In order to get the funding to bring that new water source into Central Arizona, we had to compromise in the political sphere. We had to get the agreement of California legislators to appropriate the money to build the project. That negotiation led to Arizona's agreement that the Central Arizona project would be lower priority than any water going to California. But the truth of the matter is that the health of the Colorado River system, upper basin, lower basin, is not good. And the concern is to make sure we take actions to avoid a collapse of the system. And that's what the drought contingency planning of 2019 was. So an important message is that the decision makers and the planners and the water professionals, nobody's been sitting around twiddling their thumbs. We've had water banking going on. We've had a lot of discussion and negotiations trying to mitigate the impact of the shortage, but things are getting bad or worse faster than we thought. We have to do let's say, tougher planning, tougher decision making sooner than we might have expected. And we have to hope for rain, but that's the best we can do. You hope for the best, but you have to plan for the worst. And things are not good right now.
All right, we appreciate your transparency, Dr. Sharon Megdal, the Director of Water Resources from the Research Center at the U of A. Thank you.
Thank you.